Hello, and welcome back to our advanced squad leader tutorials. This is going to be the 8th volume on guns. We have covered the two-hit process, as well as all the variations of guns used in advanced squad leader. Now we are going to cover something called the critical hit. This is an important part of ASL, and I want to use it as a gap between guns and vehicles, which we are going to start in our next series. Now, the definition of a critical hit is a shot placed so well that it does extra damage to vehicles and infantry targets. The way of obtaining a critical hit is dependent upon the target type being used. If the area target type is used, then you need to roll Snake Eyes to get a critical hit. The same with the vehicular target type. A Snake Eyes always results in a critical hit even if held down. A Snake Eyes also results in a critical hit if using a light anti-tank weapon, such as a Panzerfaust, Panzerschreck, or Bazooka. Hold down and light anti-tank weapons will be addressed in our later videos. Critical hits on the infantry target type are treated slightly different. A critical hit occurs only when the final two-hit dice roll is less than half of the modified two-hit number, or on an original two-hit dice roll of Snake Eyes, followed by a subsequent one-die roll of 1 or less, or equal to half of the modified two-hit number. Machine guns and aircraft machine guns do not get critical hits. We will now run through these examples for critical hits using a British Sherman, our 75 long anti-tank gun, two 467 German squads, and our 10-2 leader, all on board 3. As you can see, the British tank has come upon a German position, with the 10-2 and two 467 squads in one hex, and the 75 long anti-tank gun in the next hex. The infantry are 2 hexes away from the Sherman, and the gun is 3 hexes away. Let's assume it is the British prep fire phase. The British player decides to fire his main gun at the 10-2 stacked with the two 467. Let's figure out the modifiers. German receives a +2 TEM for being in the building. The British receive a -1 for being semi-point blank. So the total dice roll modifier for the shot is +1. Using infantry target type, the British player needs to get an 8 after all modification to hit the German. For it to be a critical hit, he would need to get less than half of what he needed, which means he would need less than a 4 after all modification. Since we'll be adding +1 to the final dice roll, the British player would need a Snake Eyes to obtain a critical hit. Because 2 + 1 for the TM is less than 4, which is half of 8. The British got his Snake Eyes. Now we need to check to see who gets hurt. This is done by random selection. There are 3 different units in the hex, the 10-2 and two 467s. We simply roll 3 dice, 1 for each unit, and the highest number gets hit. If the highest number is a tie, then all the units with that number receive the critical hit. In this case, the blue die will be the leader, and the white and red dice will be the 467s. Notice the results: the 10-2 leader and one 467 receive the critical hit. The British now rolls 1 IFT effect roll for everybody. The non-critical hit 467 is on the 12 column with no modifier. The 10-2 and the critical hit 467 are hit on the 24 column with a -2 DRM. The British player rolls a 5. On the 12 column, that is a 2 morale check. On the 24 column, it would be a K/4, but now there is a -2 DRM, so the 5 becomes a 3, which is 2 KAA. The 10-2 and the 467 are killed outright and removed from the game. The remaining 467 would have to take a leader loss morale check of +2 because the 10-2 leader was killed. Either way, the remaining 467 would be placed under an acquisition marker, and the British player could fire again. Now there is no +1 DRM because the semi-point blank and the acquired set off the +2 for the building. The British player would hit on an 8 or less with no modification this time, and the critical hit would occur on a 3 or less because there is no +1. Now, let's assume that the British player had decided to use area fire against the Germans. If he had rolled the same Snake Eyes, he would have gotten the critical hit result as well. However, there is no rate of fire possibility with area fire, so no more shots could have taken place. This concludes our 8th volume on guns. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Remember, these videos are good, but they are only meant to be an introduction to this great game, to give you enough confidence to dive in and have some fun. Play the game and don't worry about making mistakes. Better yet, try to learn from an experienced player and perhaps go to one of the ASL tournaments throughout the country, like the Nor'easter in Massachusetts or the New York State ASL Championships in Albany, New York. If you enjoyed this video, please like us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me at jdhobbies@live.com, And like always, thanks for watching.